Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary of the story of the World Quest Questioning Melusine and Answering Machine released in Genshin Impact version 4.2. The Traveler and Paimon are walking around Fontaine when they see a Melusine and a human arguing. The Melusine is named Talochard and is an agent of the Marichose Phantom. Side note, the Marichose Phantom are a law enforcement organization in Fontaine. The human is named Jank and is an editor at the Steambird. Side note, the Steambird is a popular newspaper. The Steambird's mechanical mascot, Sir Arthur, is missing. Just then, Euphrasie, the editor-in-chief of the Steambird, arrives with Agent Curve. Agent Curve is a Gardamech remotely operated by someone at the Marichose Phantom office. Euphrasie then asks the Traveler to join the investigation to retrieve Sir Arthur, and she agrees. The Traveler, Paimon, Talochard, and Curve investigate the area and conclude a local vagrant named Rocher is their best lead. They learn Rocher is probably at the dock, so they head over. Once there, they find a gang led by someone named Intrepid Valberry, also looking for Rocher. They chase the gang off and look around, eventually finding Rocher and his dog. They question Rocher and he explains he did not steal Sir Arthur, he only slept near him. When he woke up, Sir Arthur was gone. Rocher goes on and says his wife is from a well-to-do family, but he wanted to make it on his own. That's when he signed on to a pyramid scheme. Pretty soon, the scammers started demanding payment from Rocher. That's why Intrepid Valberry was looking for Rocher, to collect payment. In order to pay his debts, Rocher pawned off his belongings, inadvertently pawning off a family heirloom important to his wife. Instead of confessing to being scammed, Rocher told his wife he lost the money gambling, and she threw him out. Rocher says the group that scammed him is called the Elegant Tableware Confrérie. Rocher then recalls that on the night of Sir Arthur's disappearance, he remembered hearing someone small run away. Rocher then lets them use his dog to track that small person's scent. They follow the dog to a woman named Madeline and her son Kevin. They question Madeline and learn Kevin was at the Steambird on the night of the theft. They later find Kevin and question him. Kevin says he was there, but he didn't steal Sir Arthur. Sir Arthur was already missing when he got there. At the crime scene, he found a knife which he took with him. Kevin tells them where to find the knife and they head over. They head over to where Kevin said and find the knife. It is an ordinary table knife. A while back, the Steambird exposed some fraud involving the Elegant Tableware Confrérie, and this knife was part of the evidence. Talochard then confesses she is not actually an agent, but the evidence clerk at the Marichose Phantom. Curve is actually a lie-detecting robot and evidence from a previous case. Talochard just likes taking Curve on walks, and they just happen to bump into Jank and the missing mascot. Curve was built by Dr. Mousseau, a former scientist at the Fontaine Research Institute. Dr. Mousseau died 30 years ago in a duel attempting to prove his innocence. Side note, in Fontaine, the accused can opt for a duel to the death instead of a trial. Curve is a machine capable of detecting lies, but programmed to be unable to lie. They decide to meet at the Palais Mermonia tomorrow to verify the knife. The next day, they head over and verify that the knife is from the Elegant Tableware Confrérie and was part of the scam Rocher fell for. Talochard explains that despite all the evidence, the boss of the Confrérie used some legal loophole to escape accusations. Talochard suspects the Confrérie stole Sir Arthur and figures out where their base is. They head over and sneakily add some unfortunate things to the Confrérie's food, sending the Confrérie running for the exits. They then investigate the empty area and find a locket with a picture of a girl in it and knives like the one left at the crime scene. They also find a diary of the guy named Intrepid Valberry, and it seems he is likely the one who stole Sir Arthur. Side note, Intrepid Valberry seems to be friends with Intrepid Bullfruit from the villain's World Quest and was thrown out of the Order of the Fruit for defending him. The rest of the Confrérie return and Talochard attempts to place them all under arrest. However, the boss of the Confrérie says Intrepid Valberry acted independently and fires him from the organization. Intrepid Valberry then tries to fight the boss, but the Traveler settles them down. Intrepid Valberry confesses that Sir Arthur was already gone when he got there and he simply left the knife as a warning. Valberry then went to the Fleuve Cendres looking for a locksmith to break into the newspaper but found someone else also wanting to break into the newspaper. That person was dressed like a fatui. As they're talking, the boss escapes. Valberry offers to catch him and Curve verifies he's telling the truth. They let Valberry go, escort the rest of the criminals to the Marichose Phantom and head to the Fleuve Cendres. Once there, they find the Fatui. They try to talk to him, but he flees. They eventually catch him, and the Fatui says he is Bollard and was tasked to find the lab of a scientist named Dr. Mousseau Lombroso. Bollard was investigating the Steambird because he suspected they had information on Dr. Mousseau. Bollard tried to negotiate with Jenk by offering information on the elegant tableware confrérie. Despite accepting Bollard's information, Jenk offered nothing back. That's why Bollard tried to break into the Steambird. On the night of the crime, Bollard made his attempt and noticed Sir Arthur was already gone. However, a letter was left behind that Bollard took with him. Bollard lets them read the letter, and it was written by someone named Crow or Blackbird. The letter threatens to destroy Sir Arthur unless the Steambird issues a public apology for the lies it told about Dr. Mousseau. Bollard then sent out feelers to meet with the thief and was waiting for them there where the traveler found him. Talochard is dejected they still haven't caught the thief and lets Bollard go. Talochard then offers to buy the traveler one more meal before taking herself off the case and leaving it to the traveler. They head to Hotel de Boer. As they eat, they discuss Curve and how Dr. Mousseau's ultimate goal was to have Curve learn from humans to become more like them. Unfortunately, Curve's core will soon go into hibernation and Curve will stop moving completely since no one but Dr. Mousseau knows how to repair it. Side note, during the conversation, Talochard mentions that Alan Guillotine once created a thinking machine and the traveler suspects it is Seymour, the mechanical dog from the Narcissan Crew's questline. Dr. Mousseau programmed a no-lying protocol into Curve, and once Curve learns how to lie, it will prove it has obtained true human emotions. After a little encouragement from everyone, Talochard decides to rejoin the investigation in hopes of finding Dr. Mousseau's hidden lab where there might be clues on how to repair Curve. They head back to the Steambird to reenact the crime. Talochard also discusses Dr. Mousseau's death. When Dr. Mousseau first created Curve, there was a large public backlash that later turned into accusations of fraud. The Steambird even provided evidence that Dr. Mousseau falsified Curve's results and that it could not truly detect lies. Dr. Mousseau later died in a duel defending his innocence. They decide to meet with Euphrasie and learn another threatening letter was sent to the Steambird. The letter says Sir Arthur was dismembered and buried in multiple places. The culprit also spread word these locations contain clues to Dr. Mousseau's lab, so treasure hunters will be looking as well. Euphrasie suspects the culprit is Melo Lombroso, Dr. Mousseau's granddaughter. Euphrasie then asks the traveler to find Sir Arthur's pieces before word gets out and the Steambird's reputation is tarnished. They split up and visit multiple locations with Talochard and Curve on one team and the traveler and Paimon on the other. The traveler heads to their first location where they find Kevin. Kevin came with his mom to find Sir Arthur, but they split up. The dog they met earlier is also here, so they use its nose to sniff out a piece of Sir Arthur. They get the piece and head to the next location. There they find intrepid Valberry, the boss of the elegant table confrérie, and Rocher fighting each other. They stop the fighting and talk. Turns out the boss of the confrérie was looking for treasure, Valberry was there to catch him, and Rocher was looking for Sir Arthur in order to secure a job at the Steambird. They find another piece of Sir Arthur and Rocher agrees to let them have it. We also learn that Rocher and Kevin have unknowingly owned the same dog, naming it both Lombroso and Boland respectively. They head to the final location and find Kevin's mom, Madeline, facing off against some Fatui with Talochard and Curve jumping in to help. After joining the fight and chasing off the Fatui, Madeline confesses she and Kevin's father are members of the Fatui. Finding Dr. Mousseau's lab was supposed to be their last mission. We also learn that Bollard, the Fatui they met earlier, is actually Kevin's father, Boland. In the distance, they see Boland running away and chase after him. They catch him and convince him to hand over the final piece of Sir Arthur. Although Sir Arthur is now complete, they still don't have any clues on Dr. Mousseau's secret lab. Just then, Rocher chimes in that Melo Lombroso is his wife. They head back to the Steambird and Euphrasie is there with Melo Lombroso. Melo has apparently been out of town the whole time, so she is definitely not the culprit. Melo adds her family has no complaints against the Steambird's reporting 30 years ago. Euphrasie then decides to tell the truth about Dr. Mousseau. 30 years ago, Dr. Mousseau asked the then editor-in-chief of the Steambird to write the article that discredited him. Mousseau wanted to use the public discourse as data to be fed into Curve. Mousseau's hope was that this would help Curve evolve beyond his no-lying protocols. Unfortunately, this experiment went out of control and ended in Dr. Mousseau's death. Euphrasie also says Dr. Mousseau told the editor-in-chief at the time he left the location of his secret lab to his granddaughter. Melo then remembers that after her grandfather's death, her father brought a piece of jewelry home. Unfortunately, Rocher sold off that piece of jewelry in order to pay off his debts. Just then, the traveler takes out the locket they found earlier at the base of the elegant tableware confrérie. Inside, the picture of the little girl is revealed to be Melo along with a map to Dr. Mousseau's secret lab. They head over and find the lab. Inside, they read through Dr. Mousseau's notes and learn Dr. Mousseau intentionally sacrificed himself for Curve. 30 years ago, the public fury was so great that Curve was in danger of being destroyed. Dr. Mousseau asked the Steambird's editor-in-chief at the time to make it seem as if the results were falsified by Dr. Mousseau. When accused of fraud, Dr. Mousseau would then ask for a duel and die in it. All of this was to calm the public furor with Dr. Mousseau's death in order to protect Curve. This new information causes Curve to malfunction. Just then, the Fatui attack and the group uses nearby equipment to fend them off. Eventually, Jank shows up and reveals he was the true culprit all along. In exchange for finding Dr. Mousseau's lab, the Fatui agreed to help Jank take over the Steambird and become editor-in-chief. Just then, they hear a clicking sound. Using Dr. Mousseau's notes, Jank activated the lab's self-destruct system. Jank then escapes before sealing the door behind him. As they start to panic, Curve tells them it knows how to shut down the self-destruct system. First, Curve must connect its core to the base's control panel. That will open a safe room where there is a button that will stop the self-destruct. They follow Curve's instruction and head to the safe room before Curve shuts the door behind them. Turns out there is no button and Curve lied to protect them. The room does contain a way to escape, and the Traveler, Paimon, and Talochard escape to the surface. Once there, they realize Curve overcame the no-lying protocol by lying about the button in the safe room. It seems in Curve's final act, Curve evolved beyond its programming in order to save them. They spend the next couple of days looking for Jank to no success. Later, they meet with Euphrasie, who tells them someone has delivered Jank to the authorities. Jank was delivered with a broken mind, his tongue cut out, and with a note apologizing to the Traveler, Paimon, and Talochard. Jank mentioned earlier he was working with the Fatui Harbinger, and the Traveler suspects that Harbinger delivered Jank. Euphrasie takes them back to the Steambird where they see a fully repaired Sir Arthur. As a memento, Euphrasie added something Curve said, which is that Talochard will be the best agent in the Marechaussee Phantom. Encouraged by Curve's words, Talochard vows to do exactly that. And that is the end of this quest in this video. If you've liked what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.